Hello and welcome to our little tutorial about cleaning up your data. Very often you might have somebody who sends you an address list or similar database that has a few problems with it, and you have to get in there and clean them up. An example is this one here. One of the things that I notice right off the bat is that we have some duplicate records. We have Sally Jones. She's repeated twice here in the database. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click somewhere within the data. I'll make sure I'm beneath the Data tab, and in the Data Tools section there's a button called Remove Duplicates. If I click on Remove Duplicates, it will highlight the table of data, and it will actually tell me that it is looking at every column for exact matches on all of these pieces of data. Now I can go and uncheck some of these if I want the duplicate to be a little more, I guess, flexible. But generally I leave all of these items checked off, because that way I'm guaranteed that it's only looking for exact duplicates. And by that I mean duplicate in that it's duplicated in every field. So again, an exact match. If I go ahead and I click OK, it says, well, it found one duplicate value. You'll see that it erased it there, and it has left behind 8 unique values. I just go ahead and click OK. And in an instance like that, again, if I have multiple different duplicates of several different addresses, it just kind of keeps the first one it finds, and any duplicates of it, it just throws them out of the table. Now, the second problem we have with this database is that we have a column where first and last names are in one column. And so my name is completely in one cell. And that makes it really a pain to try and sort, because if I wanted to sort by last name, for instance, it's not going to make that easy. So what I really want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to break these so I have a first name column and a last name column. So to prepare for that, I'm going to right click on the letter B and go down and click Insert, and that way it pops in a new column. I'm going to do the same thing once again. Right click on the letter B, click on Insert, and it gives me the 2 columns I'm going to eventually need. So what I'm going to choose to do is I'm going to name this one first, and I'll call this one last. Now there are a couple different ways that I can split up these names. So for instance, I can come along in here and I can highlight this column, and under Data Tools there is a tool called Text to Columns. So if I click on that, it looks kind of like a wizard that we used previously to import data in another tutorial. But right off the bat, it says, okay, what is this? Fixed width or delimited text? Characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. I'm going to leave it as delimited because I'm actually going to use I'm going to tell it to separate first and last name with a space. So I'm going to go next. And rather than using tabs, I'm just going to say we're going to split them up with a space. And you'll see that that breaks them into 2 separate columns. I click Next. And at this point, again, I have the options to kind of format these as different, as pieces of text. And if I wanted to, I could click Text and go to each column and do that. It doesn't make a huge difference. But what's important now is the destination cell. If I leave it as A2, it's just going to overwrite this column. And in that case, maybe I don't care, but I've already set up these 2 columns. So I actually want the data that's broken up to appear here. So what I'll do is I'll highlight A2. I'm going to go and erase it. And I'm going to make the destination cell, in fact, B2. And if I go ahead and click Finish, you'll see that it splits the first and last names up, and I can then turn around and go and actually erase this column, I could simply right click on the letter A, click delete, and that column would be gone. Now in this case I'm not going to do that because I do want to show you a second way to split up these names. So I'm just going to click somewhere else. And in this instance I'm going to go and kind of take a step back here. So I will delete this data. And I'll show you a second way to do this that you might find even quicker. So in this instance, I'm just going to go and I'm going to type my first name into this cell. I'll tap my enter key, but I'll immediately jump right back. Now in the same area as data tools, there's this lovely little item up here called flash fill. And as long as I've given an example in that cell for Excel to follow, if I click flash fill, you'll see it fills the rest of the cells with the people's names. Same idea, I can come along here into the last column, type in my last name. Again, the reason I'm jumping away from the cell and jumping back is because you'll see as long as I'm in editing mode, that means I'm entering data into the cell, none of my commands are available. So if I tap my enter key, suddenly those commands become available, but I still have to go back so Excel has something, an example to follow. So I'm going to go and click on flash fill, and it does the same job that text to columns did. Now I can also do the reverse too. If I, for whatever reason, want to take the data from two separate columns and kind of merge them together, I could do a flash fill going in the opposite direction as well. But a lot of times I find that I'm using flash fill more often to pull data out of other cells. Now, one of the things that we can also look at, and we'll do that in another tutorial, is you can write things called data validation rules. And by doing that, that's one of the ways that you can also kind of dictate rules that force people to enter data in a specific way. So rather than having to clean them up from this side, you can actually put some rules in that may allow you to, or may force the other users who are entering data to enter data the way that you want. But like I said, we'll handle that in a separate tutorial.